talk.
Yeah.
Okay, welcome to Rick's Corner. Today I have a friend of mine from the gym who bounced in a while back, and I took a look at him. I said, this guy's huge. He should be a WWE pro wrestler. And he has every element that it takes, the charisma, the looks, the body, the personality, and what I think would make a lot of money for WWE. But I'm really happy to have Billy Reilich here with me. He's a really good guy. He's very intimidating the way he looks. Scary, frightening. People in the gym run when they see him coming. He comes in the back door and people run out the front. Now, I can't be in the gym with that guy. He's too huge. But he only trains at 15-pound dumbbells. I can't figure that out. Anyway, Billy, let's talk a little bit about when you got started lifting.
Sure.
And what age were you?
Well, I started with basketball. I played basketball all the way through college.
Yeah.
And I stopped growing taller, and so I started getting wider. So probably 17, 18, 19, I started getting serious, but it turned into bodybuilding.
Serious for what?
Serious lifting.
Oh, lifting, okay.
Taking weights seriously.
Okay, so when you started getting wider, you were working out.
Oh, yeah.
And you could see a difference.
Yeah. And that's the big thing, you know, if you're not going to get taller, why just stay skinny, you know?
Well, of course, you need to be as wide as you are tall.
Totally.
That's when you wear a 36 by 36 jean, you're as wide as you are long. I used to think that, actually. Did you make gains right away? Because you seem to have really good genetics.
So I have 3 brothers, and we're all built pretty similarly. The thing is, though, it's, you know, especially if you're still playing basketball, you're still playing a sport, you're doing all this cardio, and you can lift as much as you want, you know?
Yeah.
Until you really focus mainly on what you want to look like, how you want to do it, you know, the gains aren't necessarily going to be there right away.
Well, they come. I mean, at that age, they come.
Definitely.
But it's, as you know, it's a lot of what you eat as well.
For sure.
And how was your diet at that time?
Diet then was any college kid, you know. I ate in the cafeteria.
Yeah.
I ate a lot.
Cafeteria didn't have bad food.
No. But, you know, it was all you can eat. You know, you come on in and sit down and eat till you're full.
You know, I remember in high school my dad would always read the menu because they put it in the paper for the week. And I hated Salisbury steak. And he says, they got Salisbury steak, your favorite. I said, I'm not eating it. But the cafeteria had homemade minestrone soup and homemade spaghetti and meatballs. And this is really homemade, not like today where they process everything. You got the lady with the white knit caps and shit in there. And that was the best food I ever had. And then they had a little thing you could walk up to during the afternoon. You could buy cookies and orange juice and stuff. And they had chocolate chip or peanut butter cookies, or what they called flying saucers. Now, the flying saucers were oatmeal raisin. They were just like the size of a plate. And in my high school, that was a big deal to have a flying saucer. But the peanut butter cookies came in a 3-pack for a quarter. And my friend and I would say, do you have any burnt ones? They couldn't sell the burnt ones.
So you'd go get free cookies.
Got free cookies, and not only that, were they free, the burnt were crispy, so they were good.
You dunk them in a little milk.
Yeah, there you go. And then that was amazing. But that was good food back in those days. Now, you told me you were diabetic.
Yeah.
When did you find this out?
In high school, I got diagnosed with type 1.
Yeah.
And I wear an insulin pump, 24/7 kind of thing. But, you know, come to find out with lifting weights and stuff like that, insulin is one of the most anabolic things you can put into your body, and it helps with muscle growth like crazy.
So basically it's a blessing.
It really is. It's a blessing in disguise. Obviously, with testing your blood and stuff like that, you can kind of stay on top of everything that's going on in your body.
Yeah.
But then, you know, you work out, and then, I have to dose myself, so I'm going to put insulin into my body, and lo and behold, it helps muscles grow. So
yes, it does. How do you know, I have family that's diabetic, and you can tell they start to break into sweat and they need something right away.
Sure.
Is that what happens?
There are a couple feelings. Like if I have a low blood sugar, I kind of get dizzy and I can feel my fingers tingling, stuff like that.
Yeah.
With a high blood sugar, it's a lot of urination. You get sleepy, kind of thing. But you get used to the feeling. So if you get too out of whack too often, then you start to lose those feelings.
Okay.
So being on top of it and testing all the time. Testing whenever you eat or whenever you might feel.
What do you test? Do you have a little blood?
Yeah, you get a little finger pricker.
Yeah.
You just test it real quick.
Yeah.
2-second thing.
I got a little prick in my finger, but that's just when I pee.
You got a little prick.
I got a little prick in my finger. It's livable. It's manageable.
Definitely. And they say they're really close on a cure, which is nice.
That is very nice. And what do you think about the bodybuilders who take insulin who don't need it?
It's a risky business. I know a lot of people that have asked a lot of questions about it, and I don't know how to, work that angle without actually needing it. I do know the effects of what insulin can do to you, and I give myself just a little bit, and it's even if I don't need it and I use it, I am hitting low. I can't
Really?
I can't imagine what people are using, but I can understand the cell behind it.
Oh, I understand the cell behind it, but it affects your pancreas.
Oh, definitely.
And so if you're taking, you don't need it, you can go into like insulin shock. And so you have to eat a lot of calories with it, right?
Well, a lot of carbs with it.
A lot of carbs.
And so insulin breaks down your carbohydrates and your sugars and everything. But so, I know there are bodybuilders that do go low, and they talk about bringing around the honey bear.
Yeah.
And they say they take the honey bear and they stick it up the guy's butt if he goes low.
Really?
They squeeze it right in there. It passes the liver, it passes everything, and the sugar just gets absorbed immediately.
Well, yeah, they do this to babies for like, it's assimilated. Medicines are assimilated in the colon and the mouth, or any mucous membrane absorbs it, like suppositories, for example.
Yeah.
So that doesn't. It makes sense to me that could actually happen. So, do you attribute a lot of your growth to the insulin, or just genetics, or what?
I think it's a matter of doing the same thing every day, and especially in today, where with social media and stuff like that, a lot of people see something and they think like, "Oh, I'm going to do this for a month, and I'm going to look like that."
Yeah.
And you're not.
Yeah.
And I see you every day.
Yeah.
It's you go in there every day and you work your butt off, and if you're lucky enough by working, eventually it'll come.
There's people always talking about steroids and growth hormones and this and that. Some are for it, some are against it. I'm not against it and not for it either way. Whatever happens, happens. Whatever works.
Do what you want to do.
Over my lifetime, I tried GH maybe 6-7 times. I just never got one thing out of it.
Sure.
It didn't do anything for me. And other people say, "Oh, I get ripped. You can't believe what it does." I felt like I was wasting time on it.
And you see it in the gym as well. Like people look at, especially what you used to look like. You're a massive individual.
Yeah.
And they think, "Oh, you're still there.
I'm still sexy.
There. You're still."
It's all about
they immediately think, "Oh, he's cheating. He's got to be doing this and this and this," and they don't put into the thought of maybe he just works his butt off every day and lifts really hard and eats really well.
Well, that's the thing about, they call the golden era. I think I actually named that thing years ago when I had my show, the golden era. And before that, we called it the silver era with 1940s, 50s, and 60s. There wasn't a lot around. I mean, there was Dianabol and a couple of things, but not really readily available. Sure. There was no GH, none of that stuff. We worked hard.
Sure.
We were in the gym training hard, lifting heavy, doing a lot of sets, a lot of reps, and really eating well. And that was the key to everything. When someone says, and I showed them in the gym, "How do you get such a small waist? Did you do a lot of cardio?" I said, "No, there was no cardio machines.
Yeah.
It didn't exist." And I try to stress that to people, and they don't want to listen. They think, "Well, you trained like 8 hours a day." No way.
No, not really. That's not good for you.
You can't do that, And I was looking in the gym today, to get off subject just a little bit, and I was doing something for rear delts, and I'm looking around the gym. And I observe a lot, and I was thinking everybody had a headset on, nobody was talking, the music was blaring, and there's no camaraderie anymore. And I've had a lot of shows on this. Back in the day when we were at Joe Gold's in the beach, he didn't allow music. There were no headsets because they didn't exist, and we were the guys working out, and we discussed things with each other, we talked to each other, and we motivated one another, and we cracked jokes, and we trained, and this one working over here, and there was a conversation which is lacking today in the gym.
Sure.
And not that you have to talk to your workout, but you do have to have it fun to be there.
I agree with that, yeah.
And I see that as the lack of that, and just nobody communicates anymore.
No.
It's sad.
That's one thing you see, Arnold in Pumping Iron and stuff like that, and he walks around, he knows everyone.
Yep.
And, obviously he's held in high regard, so people already knew him, but for the fact that he knows everybody walking through, that was one thing that kind of was a giveaway to like, he enjoys where he's going. He likes what he's doing.
Yeah.
And if you go into the gym like, "Oh, I got to do this again.
Yeah.
Put my headphones on so I'm not focusing."
Right.
You're not going to grow. You're not going to work out as hard as you can. You're not going to grow like you should.
It's good to have the interaction.
Totally.
Your workouts, so you started training and you got into bodybuilding. Did you compete back then?
I've done physique. But so I moved out to Los Angeles like 3 years ago. And looking back on it now, I was tiny, but when while I was doing the move, I was like, "Oh, I'm a big guy,"
Well, you are a big guy.
Well, when I am now. When I moved out here, though, I look at photos and I'm like, why would I ever get hired for a job or anything like that?
We all do that.
But so yeah, I did some physique shows and did well with that. But it, posing with shorts and doing the twists and stuff, is, not for me.
No, it's not for everybody. But I saw your pictures. That type of body that you have a very small waist, very broad shoulders, and that's the look that people like.
Totally.
This look today of the Olympia winners with the big bellies and the big legs, and you see them in a suit, they look like elephants walking around. No disrespect, but they're 280, 300. Well, how much do you weigh?
270.
But how tall are you?
6'3".
Yeah, see, there's a difference there.
Yeah, 5'7", 230.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
Ridiculous.
I like the physique. I think that coming back to where it was in the 70s is a good thing. It's pleasing. People like it better. Women for sure like it better.
Gosh, yeah.
They don't want an elephant walking around the house, eating constantly and farting all the time. 'Cause that's what they do. But so you stopped competing, but you're starting to getting some film work
So right when I moved out here, I worked with the Ellen Show for a while as her gardener. And
how was that?
It was basically, I tell a corny joke or she tells a corny joke and I rip my shirt off. And that was 2 years of work for me,
That's great.
It was awesome.
How was she?
She's a sweetheart.
Yeah.
And what's cool is the entire staff is just like her. And what you see on TV is exactly what you get in
she
real
seems
life.
Really nice.
You walk through set and she's playing ping pong with her assistants and stuff. It's like, it's really easy going.
Like a family.
Totally.
Yeah. 2 years is a good amount of work.
2 years is a good run. And a lot of people will reach out and they'll say like, oh, why'd you get canceled? And I'm like, I didn't get canceled. Like, things move on,
It killed me on the show.
Yeah. But a lot of people put cynical things to everything that happens. And you just, sometimes you just got to move on from things.
This is the way the world is today. Everything is cynical. It's really hard to put up with. Everybody wants to find fault with everybody and everything. And they waste too much energy doing it. It's so negative. It's just not nice to be around.
I agree.
So you've been getting work and you've been training and I see you in the gym all the time. And you look great. I mean, you're ripped and you're big and you got all the size anybody would want. And do you maintain a lot of food to get that?
It's really expensive to be bigger, heavier.
Yeah.
As you know. A lot of time spent. Actually, after I leave here, I'll be going grocery shopping.
Yeah.
So
I eat while I go down the aisles. I mean, that's an old school thing. We eat while I go down the aisles, and when we get the check stand, we only pay for half of what we have.
Well, yeah, and now you'll say, well, I didn't know.
I know. I'll tell you something even worse, and don't you people get mad at me, because we all did this back in the day. We would go through like Vaughn's Market, one of these markets, and they had sticker prices on the outside of the meat, not on the inside. And then we rip it $8 steak, and we put down a steak for $1.95. And we get to the check stand, and the girl says, "Wow, is that on sale?" I said, "I don't know, but I'm buying it." So you saved a lot of money like that, and a lot of people did. A lot of guys from the gym did that. They put restaurants out of business. But that's how it was then. I don't do that. You can't do it now. It's impossible. You're training how many days a week?
I try to do 5-6 days, and sometimes those are you leave the gym and wow, I feel amazing, I'm coming back.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, living close to a gym. I work 3 days a week. Luckily, I live a lifestyle where I don't go out often, I don't drink, I don't party or anything like that. So my cost of living is very low.
Yeah.
To the point where I can work out every day. People say, well, I got a job. Like, okay, change your job. Work out if you want to.
I did the same thing.
Do what you want to do.
A lot of the guys back in the 70s did the same thing. They work here and work there and have days free. And it's a lifestyle. And all you need in your life now with that style is to live at the beach where I did. Right on the sand for 2-bedroom, 2-bath with it's 2-bedroom, 2-bath for $165 a month.
Well, you're not going to find that now.
Not now. But it was rent control, so it didn't have to make a lot of money to live there.
Sure.
It got to live my dream. You just finished the film?
Yeah, Bigger
Story of Joe Weider.
Mm-hmm.
And how did that go?
Oh, it was amazing. The cool thing is you're surrounded by everybody that is interested in this one ideal.
Yeah.
Especially based in the 50s and 60s. You walk on set and you're there. You're on stage at the 60s Olympia. Exactly how it was.
That's so cool.
Very cool. And so I play Reg Park, which... Little did I know, I see him now, and I think like, I don't know what he really looked like back in the day.
Yeah, hell of a body.
Yeah, he was the real Hercules.
He was Arnold's hero.
Yeah.
His son John's been on my show. He's a really nice guy. And then there were Max Martini was there.
Mm-hmm.
And who did he play?
Max played, I can't think of his name.
Who played Joe Weider?
Anarin.
Was he like him? Did he act like him?
They had some amazing accents to the point where you could listen to Joe and Ben Weider,
Yeah.
and you'd think it was really Joe and Ben Weider sitting right there. You're like, wow.
Yeah, he had a definite way of talking.
Yep.
Definite way. Oh, that sounds like fun. When's this going to be released?
I want to say it's, right now they have it at 2018.
Yeah.
I'm sure it'll be a month or two before the Olympia.
Yeah.
It's based all around the Olympia and the Weiders.
How long did the whole shoot take?
I want to say they were there a little over a month. I was only there
That's
2
pretty quick.
weeks.
That's pretty quick.
But they moved. They filmed almost every day.
Shot in Birmingham?
Yeah.
How was that?
Small town. It was cool though.
Yeah. Well, that's where they did also Stay Hungry.
Yeah. And they have landmarks there for the movie.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was an interesting film. I mean, that's one of Arnold's first, and a lot of guys from the gym were in that, and it was okay. So your plans for the future are what?
I want to use bodybuilding to kind of make a brand. I feel like you see a lot of guys that were in bodybuilding and they're still in bodybuilding, doing personal training, and they're paying bill by bill, per their clients. I would like to get to a point where by the time I'm 35, 40, to be able to, okay, this is my name and this is what I have,
I worked on a film called Man from Atlantis with Ernie Hudson, big tall black guy, and Ernie Hudson works a lot now. He's in everything. He had a shaved head back then. He says, Rick, and this is really funny, he says, by the time I'm 40 years old, man, I'm going to have $100 in the bank. I'll never forget that line coming out of him. It was so funny, and he's got a lot of money now. Is the thing about bodybuilding and making money, and I'm sure you're aware of it, there's a lot of guys, even back in the day, some are still around, and some of them are totally broke. They have nothing to do with their lives. They don't know where they're going or what they're doing. They never set aside time to learn something on the side so they could have an income. Yeah. The gym was their whole thing, and it was their whole expense, and they had no money. So when that fell through, they said, well, what do we do now? And not only them, there's a lot of wrestlers like that too.
Sure.
They just don't know what to do after they get out of the business, and you have to have something set up, like a brand, like you said, of something that represents you, that you can market and get some people behind it and do mass marketing for it.
And that's the thing. It's a pipe dream to be Mr. Olympia.
Yeah.
As is.
Yeah.
Not everybody's going to be Ronnie Coleman. Not everybody's going to be Arnold.
No.
But even if you are at that level, you're only operating on that level for 5, 6, 7 years.
Yeah.
You're only making that money for that short amount of time. Either you're investing it somewhere, or you're going to become a brand that you'll be able to push the rest of your life.
Right. You don't even hear about Ronnie Coleman and some of those guys anymore. They're here and gone.
You see Ronnie Coleman and you worry for him.
Yeah.
After what, obviously in his heyday, he was amazing.
Yeah.
Body-wise, but now it's...
They call that 15 minutes of fame.
It's tough to see, yeah.
It is tough to see, and you've got to really plan for the future. Just got to do it. And when I was younger, people said to me, oh, I'm like my father-in-law, what do you want to be an actor for, or a wrestler? No, that's not going to lead you anywhere. And now when I think about it, I made it happen, but I tell young kids that want to be wrestlers, and you went through this, I'm going to bring it up in a second. You've got to have all the elements to do that. You've got to have what they want. You've got to be professional, and maybe 1 out of 1,000 might make it.
Maybe, yeah.
So you tried out for WWE.
Yeah, they brought me to the NXT tryout.
Right.
That was almost a year ago now.
I remember.
That was probably the hardest 3-4 days of my life.
Why is that?
The workouts they put you through.
That's crazy, isn't it?
Oh my gosh. And, there are guys that you see them in person and you think, wow, this is a colossal man. They can't get through, half of the stuff. Don't care. Bye. You can't go through a workout. You're out.
Yeah. Well, when I started in '65, it was brutal. I made it happen, but I drove 2 hours each way, LA back to Bakersfield to the gym, and it was hard. I was always hurt. Things hurt. I had bruises. I busted a tooth and broke my nose, and thought, do I really? My mom said, "You really want to do this?" I said, "Well, I do. I mean, it's what I want to do." But today, a lot of the younger guys think they're entitled to just have a name, have your entry music, and have your outfit, and go in and win. And it doesn't work like that, and you know it.
Yeah.
I'm just surprised that they didn't look at you and say, wow, here's money. I told you that when you went.
Yeah. And, what was it, 35 people that I tried out with? Mm-hmm. Not one of us made it. There were guys doing backflips off the top rope.
Yeah.
Not one of us. And, we were all big. Everybody comes from a different background, but everyone was a monster of a man.
Well, what they look for, and I told a lot of people that went there, because people who trained with me have been there, like Rusev, he trained with me for several years. They were looking for a personality, looking for charisma. They were looking for a basic headlock takedown, run the ropes, do a couple of basic moves. Jumping all around the ring wasn't really what they were looking for. They were looking for a storyline, someone to be able to tell a story in the ring and look professional. And after you got all that, then they'll work with you. Then later on, they'll teach you the other stuff.
Yeah. They didn't care about your background at all.
Yeah.
You know? They said, honestly, it's easier if you don't have other coaching from outside and stuff like that. You know, obviously it's good if you know what you're doing, the basics, but they can teach the basics. They can't teach coachability. They can't teach responsibility, getting to the gym on time, being able to work your ass off every day.
They can't give you charisma either. You either have it or you don't.
Sure.
So they want to take something raw and build something out of it. And this has been the story of my life. And you're going to laugh at me for this, but every girl I ever dated, I always made sure they didn't have any past with another guy. That way I could break him in the Rick Grayson way. Give them the school of Wikipedia and the book of Rickopithecus and the street smarts, and they would be exactly what I wanted.
Sure, I get it.
And they'd stick with me just like Hefner. Way, it's a joke, so don't get upset. It's good having you here. I appreciate this.
This was a blast.
And we'll do more. We'll pick a subject one day and talk about something else. But keep doing what you're doing because it's working.
I love it. Thanks so much, man.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you guys for watching Rick's Corner, and we'll see you all next time. Stay tuned for news, traffic, and weather. Just kidding.
Drasin.com. He is the equalizer, baby. See you next time.